Hello writers, come write with me. My name is Mykela Greenwood. I create worlds for mind adventures. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Write with Mykela. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell so you can go on this journey with me. Today is Tuesday and we are going to have a writing prompt. First, remember when we wrote about a scary cave in episode 25 of season 1? I want you to pull that out. When we wrote about that, we used all or most all of our senses, and we added emotions, and we wrote about a cave. We actually wrote about two caves. We wrote about a peaceful cave first, and then a scary cave. Today, I want us to go back to the scary cave, and we are going to answer a question or two and create another scene or add to the scene that we already wrote. The question is, what do you find in the cave? Is there an unknown chasm? A chasm is like a deep, dark hole, and we wouldn't want to fall into that. Is there a monster or a bear or a poisonous mushroom growing that contaminates the air? Is there a portal to another world or dimension? Just what do you find? And it doesn't have to be something bad. Maybe you find people and you help each other. Now, I already found some things in the cave that I wrote about. I found some bones on the floor. But in my cave, I hinted at a monster. So we will see what more I can come up with. The second question is, how do you get out? In my cave, to get in, I hit a slide and I slid, and the hole back out was, halfway up the wall. So is there another exit? Again, we'll have to wait to see what I come up with. I'm not sure I have enough in the scene to find an exit yet, but I will at least look for one. Now, if you think you would have more fun answering those questions for the peaceful cave, then by all means use that one. You could start with a peaceful cave and find something extremely wonderful and find a different exit. Or you could find something that turns your piece upside down, including a rock slide that blocks your exit. So that is just so that it just seemed like it was a peaceful cave. It was peaceful at first. I could have fun with this as well, especially because I had a team of people in that cave and we were going cave splunking. So different characters would react differently. Some would remain calm and try to think of how to handle a rock slide or upside down piece. Some might panic, So I could have fun with that as well. And you can choose to have fun. You can do whichever one you want. But I'm writing on the scary one. Now, we have had a lot of terms of literary jargon. So I don't want us to, forget those. In my peaceful cave, if I were using that one, I could use most idioms of our time period. But maybe not in the scary cave because I haven't set the time period for that one. I still haven't decided if it's going to be, more in the future, it's going to be about our time, or what have you. So, I haven't set the time period. And time period is important for idioms, remember that. Alliteration, my favorite tool, is always available. If you're using the peaceful cave to turn into a scary one, then you are changing the mood. We started writing about the caves with our senses, observations, emotions, so we can continue with those things. Don't forget those things. We can use metaphors or similes. We can use personification. If I meet a monster in my cave, I can personify the monster. Of course, in my scary cave, I will have the motivation I need to escape. I want us to have fun. That's the whole thing of writing. And it's just fun. Pull out your writings on the 2 caves. Pick one. And answer at least one of the questions, if not both. What is in the cave? How do you get out? Now, we wrote in first person before. And we can still do that. First person is I ran, I saw, said to me, etc. Second person, if we've not gone over this, so I'm going to briefly touch on it. Second person is you ran, you saw, or said to you. Most stories are not in second person. Third person is he or she ran, he or she saw, said to him or her. Third person could also use a character name, like John ran, John saw, that kind of thing. Writers usually write their stories in third person. And you're welcome to use third person if you choose. And I told you before that if you decide to take some of these scenes that we write in first person and put it in one of your stories, you can just change all the I's and stuff to a character name or to he and she. Those things are easy to change. When we come back, I will read my scary cave again for you. So what I wrote in episode 25. And then I will read what I added today. Okay? Let's start. Welcome back, writers. Now I will read about my cave and then I will read the answer to the first question. Spoiler alert, I didn't find an exit yet. Okay, so this is what I wrote with episode 25. I'm running. It will be night soon, and I'm already losing light. Ahead, I see some woods. I glance over my shoulder, and I'm still far enough ahead that I don't think my enemy has spotted me. But I can't take the chance that they will find me. Finally, I make it into the woods, and I slow down a little. The next thing I know, I'm sliding down and down. The slope or slide curves this way and that way, and it is dark. So I don't know my direction at all. Then I tumble into a room. A red light is coming from somewhere. But I'm not sure the source of the eerie light. And the smell is a wretched smell. Like when a squirrel gets stuck in your attic and dies. I put my hand down on the ground to boost myself up. And I feel a bone. I can't help but shriek in terror as my heart jumps into my throat. I quickly clamp my hand over my mouth, but I stay in a squat. I can't breathe, and I try for a few minutes as I tell myself to calm down. I can't squat for long, but I know I need to know what is in this cave. Is the bone here because there is no way out? There's no food or water? Is there an animal or monster in here that eats whatever falls into its cave? My eyes adjust to the light a little. And as I look around the circular room, I see bones scattered all over the floor. I hear a sound like an iron gate closing, and that causes me to jump. I decide to get closer to the wall and not stay in the center. But then I glance back to look for the slide to see if I could climb up. There's a hole in the wall behind me about halfway up, and the hole is narrow. I don't think I can jump up and grab the edge and pull myself up. Then I hear a gate again. Holy moly, something must be in here with me, and it's going to eat me. My heart is pounding so hard in my chest that my chest is in intense pain. I hear my heart, and my hearing sounds like I'm underwater. My breaths are shallow and fast. I can't calm myself. My whole body feels like it's vibrating. What can I do? Okay, writers, for those of you just joining me, that was the description of the cave that I wrote with episode 25 in season 1. Now I will read what I added today. For a moment, I think about my enemies. I was spying on them and trying to ascertain what they were doing to the different animals and people they had captured. And it looked like some science experiments. And my people and I probably need to rescue those people. Then, of course, I tripped the alarm, but I was fairly sure they hadn't seen me. We had all the optics for the job, at least we thought we did, and I avoided all the cameras. Also, of course, I didn't bring any electronics because we didn't want our enemy to locate me, so I can't radio anyone. Once I don't return, my team will head to the enemy's headquarters and see if they can find me. But I'm not there. I need to get out of here and let them know that I'm alive, at least for now. Then I hear the iron gate again. Okay, I've calmed some, so my brain is asking me if the sound is on the timer. I pull out an old pocket watch, something that I found on one of my first missions. It was just a watch. There was no Wi-Fi connection to it, but it does have a backlight. The clock reads 7:32. I will read it again once I hear the gate again. I look around the chamber again, and again I see bones scattered all over the floor. I think I don't know anatomy enough to know if they're femur bones or fibula bones. At least I don't seem to see any skulls. I tell myself that maybe the bones are from animals and not people. I see an arch in front of me and a darker area to my left, so I carefully make my way over to that darker area over to my left and hope it is a tunnel for a way out. I can't walk in a squat, but still I bend over to walk across the chamber. Then I step on a bone and it scratches across the floor. I freeze and look around. I notice the air is stifling still and my sweat is pouring down my face and my back. I continue across the chamber until I reach the darker area. The darker area is an opening to a tunnel of sorts, but I don't see the red light down it. My heart pounds in my chest as I think of going down the dark tunnel. I look back across the chamber as I consider my options. Then I hear the iron gate again. I pull out the pocket watch. It's 7:34. Once I hear the gate or iron, whatever it is, make the sound again, I will know if it is on some kind of timer or it is random or perhaps something else. My hands go to my belt. Sometimes I wear a flashlight, but no luck. I do have my pocket knife. At least that is something. Then I hear a squealing sound. It is high-pitched and coming closer to the chamber. Then, in the dull red light, I see something darting across the floor of the chamber. It seems it is a small animal. The animal whirls around and faces the way it came. I look that direction, which is across from the hole I slid into the chamber from. Then a huge creature, perhaps the size of a bear, fills the archway from over there, and it bounds across the chamber to the squealing animal. I press up against the wall and slip slightly into the tunnel. I don't know how this creature senses things, but it is fast, and the small animal is dead. My heart is beating so fast now that I'm sure no machine could measure how many beats per minute. I pull my knife and open the blade. It is a medium-sized pocket knife, but for the beast it would be small and probably won't do me much good. I stay as still as possible while the creature devours the small animal. I want to slip down the tunnel, but what if there are more bones or loose rocks on the floor? I slowly move my foot back a couple of inches, and then my other foot. I stay close to the tunnel wall, and my eyes are on the creature. I actually don't want to take my eyes off the creature because I want to know when it knows I'm here. I hear the iron gate again, but I'm not checking the pocket watch now. The creature raises up and sniffs the air. Oh no, I think. Now it smells me. It's going to find me for sure. My ears are ringing now that my fear has escalated more than I think it could. The creature looks towards the tunnel I'm in, and its eyes are glowing yellow with an unnatural glow. I grip my knife and go over my training in my head. I'm trying to see the neck, but the head and neck look like one body part. The creature turns its head and sniffs the other way. My heart slows a little, but only a little. My chest is still in severe pain. Then the creature looks the way it came and lets out a screech. The shrill sound sent shivers down my spine, and my arm hairs are standing on end. The creature ambles out of the chamber through the arch it came in. I decide that even though that arch and tunnel had the red light, I'm definitely not going down that tunnel. At least not unless I find myself in a dead end. At the moment, I'm not really moving. I just lean my head back against the wall, and my right hand goes to feel my heart pounding in my chest. I still have my knife in my left hand, and I'm not putting it away just yet. I still don't know how the creature senses anything, and I'm sure that my knife would not harm the creature since it is the size of a bear. The small animal had no chance. My sweat is pouring down my face. I also feel it on my arms and down my back. Surely that will add to my scent. I know I need to go down the dark tunnel and try to find a way out. But right now, I just have to calm down. I hear the iron gate once again, but I'm too stressed right now to pull out the stopwatch. Okay, writers, what did we find in my scary cave? Well, actually, a creature came to us, right? When we first read about this cave, I asked some questions in episode 25. One question was, is there a passage off the circular room? And now we know of at least two. We asked, do we get to see the animal or monster? And we saw a creature. It was still dark with that red eerie light. So we don't know anything about this creature except that, you know, the head and neck are kind of like one body part. We asked if the creature was sleeping or awake. When we came in the cave, who knows what it was, but it's definitely awake now. We asked if we could sneak past it, but now I'm taking a different tunnel and hoping not to ever go past it or near it again. We asked if whatever that was in the cave was somehow connected to our enemy. And the short flashback of memory said the enemy was experimenting on humans and animals. So this could be one of their creations. We just don't know that yet. Finally, we asked if our enemy was scared of whatever was in the cave too. The story or scene has not answered this, because maybe the creature escaped the enemy after it killed several of them. So that is a question. Those are questions from season 1, episode 25 that I still have to answer. And you decide where your story goes. You don't have to answer all the questions. Some of them may become irrelevant, you know, that kind of thing. And of course, the second question that we asked today was, is there a way out? And this scene did not answer that either. I could still find more things, creatures, or people in this cave. And I have some ideas. I'm sure you do too. Like I said before, these scenes are not in a story yet. If I were going to use them, most likely I would start before this. I would start the story with like a normal spy operation, or at least someone reporting on it, and then plan this one. These scenes here are quite high in intensity, And I usually don't start by dropping the reader into such a scary situation. I could. But if I start that way, then I would need a lot of action for the story. Because that's kind of the promise that I would be giving my readers. Action, 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 action. But if I build up to these scenes, then I'm not promising action-packed story. I'm, you know, more narrative or whatever's coming in, developing who the protagonist group is, you know, who the antagonist group is, that kind of thing. And then this creature is it a, you know, whatever it is. So if I build up to this cave and stuff, then I'm not doing an action story. If I start where we started this, where I'm just running, then that is kind of promising my reader action, 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 action. So I would have to keep that kind of intensity up. So I will, if I write this as a story, I will put in some stuff before this. So I hope you enjoyed adding to your scary cave, or your peaceful one, if you chose to use that one. I'm looking forward to reading about your caves with your additions. I know I didn't warn you to keep your original caves. I don't think people normally just delete things either. So, I mean, I think most of us are writing on the computer nowadays. So, I didn't warn you, but I have had a lot of fun. And I think we can pull this out again and add to it again. Now that I think about that, I think that will be a great writing problem on another Tuesday. We'll wait a couple of weeks, you know, but we can add a beginning of before we got to the cave. So that y'all can set up going to the cave. Why would you be in the enemy territory, or whatever your story is? You may have just happened upon this cave. You may have been just exploring the woods and then happened upon this cave. So why were you in the woods? Why were you, why were you there to find the cave? Were you looking for the cave? Was it something you had heard about beforehand? Were you aware of it? Were you aware of some of the stuff that's in it? So then when we write again on this as another writing prompt, we're going to add a beginning of before we got to the cave and what happened before you got to the scary cave. What made you, what happened before, so that we can understand why you're there. It's a thought to keep in mind. And of course, you still have the plot to write on as well. Leave a comment below on what you found or your character found in your cave. And leave a comment on which cave you used for today's writing prompt. Your peaceful cave or your scary one. Or, if you took your peaceful one and flopped the piece, tell me about that, how you changed the mood. Join me Friday for story time. I will read chapter 7 of Tahia for wind protection. And join me Tuesday for some jargon on copyright protection, plagiarism, and footnotes. It may not be as fun as alliteration, but it is necessary jargon. In between days, visit my website, www.bymykela.com, or just the bymykela.com. You don't necessarily have to have the www. And you can type that in the URL in the box at the top of the internet, not necessarily the Google search bar in the middle of the page. And you can visit my website and read some character bios. If you hit like and subscribe and the bell notification, then we will continue to write together. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate your participation. If you know someone who would like this video, then please share it with them. This is Mykela with Write with Mykela. Bye for now.